In the previous video, we explored how to create a team and how to use Class Notebook. We briefly explored how to view files, but in this video, we'll look into that further, as well as talk about SharePoint. As explained in the previous video, Teams and SharePoint are connected. What this means is that every time you create a new team, it gets associated with a new page on SharePoint. SharePoint is a site that is for storing. Imagine when you have gotten a new student in the past. Imagine the moment that you input their Skype ID into Skype. Imagine that a student folder was automatically created on Google Drive. This is sort of how it works with Teams and SharePoint, but let's explore this more hands-on so that you can see how they connect. First, let's explore the team that we have for instructors. I'm going to navigate here to Teams so that I can see all of my teams and then click on Instructors. On the left-hand side, you can see all of the channels that I, as an administrator, have created. Everyone in this instructors team can see the general channel, which is why if you scroll up, you can see everyone's messages. However, the rest of these channels only appear to you if they are applicable to you. If you're a Spanish instructor and you don't teach another language, you won't be added to, for example, Japanese instructors. The little lock icon next to these channels denotes that this is a private channel. This is why only Spanish instructors will be in this in Spanish instructors channel. If you look at this random channel, it doesn't have a lock icon, meaning it's open for everyone to see regardless of what language you teach. Same thing for general, this is why you can see everyone's messages. I mentioned these channels because it's going to be relevant to our conversation about SharePoint. Since we have an instructor's team, then that means that there's a SharePoint site associated with this instructor's team. You will find all of the files that are shared here to the SharePoint that corresponds. You can do this by clicking on Files. Something to note is that we are on the General channel, so it is showing me files in the General channel. If I were to click on German Instructors, you see Files is here at the top, and if I click on it, there isn't anything here. We're not seeing what we saw in the General channel, and this is due to how files are organized on SharePoint. You can access SharePoint from here by clicking on the three little dots on the top right-hand side and clicking Open in SharePoint. Again, since we're on the General channel, it is showing us the files that exist in the General channel. That's why it says General here. In this area, you will find all the files that are shared with you currently on Google Drive. This academic procedures folder is the same academic procedures folder that is in Google Drive, which is where you'll find your project-based learning resources and your updated grade summary forms. Everything that is currently shared with you will be in this general folder. You can think of this general folder as replacing the Google Drive and all of the files that is shared from LanguageBird administrators. However, to see the files from other channels, click on Documents. This will show us the documents for public channels. These are channels that do not have that little lock icon next to their name. This email attachments folder is associated with this conversation option you have here on the left-hand side. If you click on conversations, it actually opens up Outlook and allows you to message instructors over Outlook. It's just another way to communicate with instructors over email, but you can certainly just send messages directly over Teams. To view a private channel's files, you would have to click on that channel's SharePoint page. The SharePoint site was created when we created the instructors team. In the documents folder, you can see all public files, but you don't have the private files in private channels. We can click on the channel here in Teams and then just do the same process that we did to access SharePoint. Just click on these three little dots and then click Open in SharePoint. You'll see here at the top, it says Instructors, Spanish Instructors. This is the channel's specific SharePoint page. No, if I click on Documents, it has the Spanish Instructors folder. that I can click on, and I only have one image in there, which is a picture of a language bird. From this page, I can actually go to the general instructors team by clicking on parent team, and this will open up a tab to go back to the instructors SharePoint site. This is a one-way connection. You can go from the private to the general, but you cannot go from the general to the private. You have to do that by accessing Teams first. And again, everything you should need from Language Bird administrators will be in the instructors SharePoint site in the general folder, which you can access here on SharePoint and you can access on Teams when you are on the general channel. Since you'll be on Teams for your lessons, I can imagine you will mostly access the files from here, but you can certainly go on SharePoint and view the files in a different way. Let's briefly look over the rest of SharePoint. If we click on Home, we have a bunch of different cool features. You have a news section where Language Bird administrators can enter a page of information for you to view. If you scroll down, you can see the activity, which includes the files that are uploaded onto the folders. You can think of this page as a summary page of what's been happening. As I mentioned before, Conversations opens up Outlooks and you can send messages to instructors in this way. Documents will show you the files shared with you and the files that are shared specifically to this instructor's SharePoint. Notebook takes us to a blank online notebook provided by OneNote. I can go back. If I click on Pages, it will open up the library of pages that have been created for the instructor's SharePoint. There isn't anything here because nothing has been created. A page is almost like a blog. It's a space to share information in text or media form. They're certainly not required for you to create and is among one of the features that is not required for you to even use at this point. It will notify you if a page has been created for you to review. The recycle bin will just show you things that have been deleted. So if you've accidentally deleted something, there's a record of it here. It will be lost forever though if you click on this empty recycle bin button. Pressing edit will just allow you to move these things around. Please just leave these as is. And just to recap, Teams and SharePoint are connected. When a team is created, a site is created on SharePoint. We reviewed the instructors team and SharePoint site. However, remember that a SharePoint site is created for any new team that you create. This means that every time you create a team for a new student, a SharePoint site will be automatically created as well. All files that have been shared on Teams can be accessed either on the Teams app or on SharePoint.